Howdy, y'all. This is Mr. Selk again, back at it with the tea. This is Monday. Happy Monday. And, woo! What do we expect to be doing today, this Monday, this whole week? Going to the kitchen. And we're not. So today, though, I thought I'd do something special related to going to the kitchen. So stick around, and I hope you're all doing well. Cheers. Hey, folks. This is Darian, who's going to help us in the kitchen today. So,
Hi, my name's Dadian. I go by she, her, hers pronouns, and I'm currently a first year at the University of California at Santa Cruz.
very cool. And so, today we're going to be cooking
I'm
some.
very excited. Some mac and cheese.
Yay, mac and cheese. All right, we'll see you in the kitchen.
Okay, so today we're going to be starting our mac and cheese first. And these are the ingredients that you're going to need.
We're going to put them right there.
They're going to appear right here for you.
Cool.
Here they are. Of course, we have our pasta. Tough times. We'll be using penne, as you can see, gluten-free. We have our onion. We'll probably be using, not the whole thing, probably a little less than half for our cheese sauce. A garlic clove, but once again, we'll only be using one clove. Some Parmesan cheese. Some sharp cheddar. We'll only be using 2 cheeses for our video, but I'm sure you can use many more cheeses to your liking. Dijon mustard for the cheese sauce. Some butter for the roux that we'll be making for the cheese sauce. Flour that will also go for the roux. We have our spices, which include pepper, salt, and smoked paprika, but I'm sure any kind of paprika you find should be fine. And of course, milk to thicken our cheese sauce. So first and foremost, please wash your hands in these dire times. Very important, especially when you're going to be handling vegetables and produce. Anyways, here we go. So I've managed to separate 1 clove from the garlic head, and that is what you'll be wanting to do. Get a knife that is very sturdy, and we'll cut through the onion, of course. And so first what we'll do with the clove is we're gonna break it open by first getting your knife, laying it parallel with the blade facing to one side, and I guess just apply pressure here as if you're gonna squeeze it. You should hear a little snap, and now the garlic clove should be open. I'm just gonna wanna peel it. And it's okay if it comes out a little bit broken. We're gonna end up mincing the garlic anyways. And this is going towards our cheese sauce. The pasta sauce the pasta water right now is boiling, so you're gonna wanna do all of this while your pasta water is boiling. So now we're gonna go ahead and mince it. First we're gonna do vertical incisions. Be very careful. Also, pro tip, use your knuckles to create space between you and the blade so you don't get your fingertips chopped off. It's like under gold standard. And what we're looking for here is just a fine mince. So they're all very small, kind of consistent, but you just don't want any garlic chunks when you're eating your macaroni. Cool. So I'm gonna decide for myself that this is enough. I'm gonna set this aside. Make sure none of it is stuck to the blade. And now we're gonna move on to our onion. So I'm gonna eyeball this, I suppose, because I'm not sure truly how much I'm gonna be using. I don't want a whole lot of onion, but I think, like I said before, a little less than half is probably gonna do us good. So I'm gonna start right here. This is about like 1 inch from the middle. We're gonna go vertically. And once again, if you're not used to cooking or handling blades, just go at it slow. There's really no rush to cooking. The food is not going to go anywhere. Okay, I'd like to turn around. And you should. Okay, getting off. And if the another tree, then you oh, if your eyes start to water, totally fine. It's the byproduct of chopping onions. I'm starting to tear up myself. And there you have it. You have your finely chopped onion and your minced garlic. So now we've moved on to starting to make our cheese sauce. We have, of course, our pasta boiling already, or our pasta water boiling. We have yet to put it in, but what I have right now is the stove at a high, kind of medium to high, I'd put it at. And what we're first going to be doing is we're going to be starting our garlic. First and foremost with this cheese sauce, we're going to add, like I'd say, like a douse of oil, just enough to drizzle the pan. You don't want to add too much because this is already going to be a very oily recipe, especially with the butter. But you just want enough so that it's covered for the most part. If you need to spread it around like I'm doing so right now, that works too. And we're just going to let that pan heat because you don't want to put in garlic while it's like lukewarm, and then it's just going to be weird. Alright, now that we feel that the pan is hot enough and it's eliciting enough heat, we're going to add our garlic first. And you should hear it right off the bat sizzle. Okay. Now, wooden spoon or spatula. I'm just trying to mix it around. We're going to let that sizzle for like about 2 minutes, I'd say. Yep. And a reminder, once again, for the cheese sauce, we're going to be using butter. I'd say I'm going to start with a tablespoon of butter. I'm going to go at it one by one till I see how much of sauce I need, or how much it's going to complement the roux / the flour. I don't know. I'm going to go at it tablespoon by tablespoon. Of course, I'm already starting to see my garlic browning a little bit, so I think this is a good cue to add my onion. And if it's too hot, or if you see your garlic burning, then you might want to take it down a heat measurement temperature. Okay. And you want to do this until you start to see your onions kind of become transparent. That's when you know they're almost done cooking, or they're at a good place to be cooked. Okay, very cool. I might actually turn it down a little. Once again, medium to high is where you want to be. Maybe you want to be leaning more towards medium. You have a pepper. Oil. If you feel like this is becoming too dry of a mixture, then maybe like add a little bit, but honestly I think we're going to be good. And of course, any kind of paprika, and preferably Dijon mustard. And of course, you want to have your measuring spoons, because this is how we're going to be measuring a lot of the spices and the mustard. So now we just kind of wait.
A few moments later.
It's been about, I'd say, 2 minutes since the onions have started cooking. I see that they're becoming more and more translucent. I'm just going to start adding 1 tablespoon of butter. Should hear that sizzle again. And of course, the butter is going to help not only make the roux, but also caramelize the onions. Very cool. So now we start to see the butter cover like the top layer of the pan. That's essentially how much butter you want. Enough that your onions are submerged and enough that the whole pan is covered. So I think I'm at a good place. Yeah, I think this is looking good. Now I'm going to start to add my flour tablespoon by tablespoon. So of course, any kind of flour should be good. Yeah, I don't think, some recipes are like flour specific, but I'm sure you can use any type of flour. For this mac and cheese. Okay, I see that my butter's fully melted and it's like a nice good layer. I'm gonna go at it 1 tablespoon. If you don't have measuring spoons, that's fine. I'm sure you can eyeball it. Okay, so we have 1. Put that in there. Just go ahead and stir it. Now what this does for the cheese sauce is that it makes the consistency much more thick. I think I'm going to go ahead and add 1 more tablespoon. Okay. I'm seeing that my onions are starting to become mushy with the sauce. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more butter. This is all just like trial and error, a majority of it. And I'm just going to add that last half a tablespoon that I took. Okay, and now I have my roux right now, and this is just that butter flour mixture. And like I said before, that is pretty much what's going to thicken our sauce. I'm going to turn it down a little bit so it doesn't burn. But what you want it to do is create a nice brown color. We're done with our butter. And this is where I start introducing a little bit of spices. We're going to add a dash of salt. Maybe 2. Don't want to over salt it. This is the beginning stages. Definitely 1 dash of pepper. I didn't get very much there, so I'm just gonna, there we go. Now that I'm content with how thick my roux is, that took about like 1 to 2 minutes. I'm sure if you want to explore consistencies and really get detailed with this part, there are many guides and traditions as well. Okay, very cool. Now we're going to introduce the milk. We are using low fat, I think it is, organic. And for the milk, I should definitely measure it with half cups. You could definitely use full cups, but just to be safe, I'm using half cups. Okay, here's 1. It's 1 full cup. I'm going to stir it. Should be. I think I'm just going to go ahead and add like half more. Just to make sure we have enough for the amount of pasta that we're making. Of course, everyone's going to have different milk and sauce measurements, but I'm just going to go ahead and add that safety extra half. Okay, and I'm going to leave this so that it simmers. so far, now that the pasta has finished cooking, I'm gonna go ahead, and if I feel like my cheese sauce is a little too thick and it's like kind of a weird texture, I went ahead and added like half a cup of pasta water, and that's just kind of to dilute it but to keep it thick, because the starch in the pasta water will help it keep its consistency. But now that the pasta's done cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and drain it, and I've put a colander in the sink so it can go ahead and drain. Also, since this is going to be a baked mac and cheese recipe, I've also went ahead and preheated the oven to 350. And now that my pasta's ready, I think I'm just going to give it a quick rinse, and then I'm going to go ahead and incorporate it to the cheese sauce pan. I've also already turned off my cheese sauce because I'm done with it and I feel that it's good consistency. So this is it. I've also gone and prepared my oven safe dish for the macaroni when this sucker goes inside. I'm going to go ahead and spray it. Just a nice good layer, especially to the side so it doesn't stick, but up to you. Then just giving this a quick hit. Now that this is good, I'm going to go ahead and add it to the cheese sauce. Nice. This is the money maker. And then we're just going to go ahead and incorporate it. Beautiful mac and cheese, or penne and cheese. Nice. So now once that's all incorporated, we're just going to wait for the oven to finish preheating, and we're going to put that sucker inside. So yeah. Alright, now we're putting in our mac and cheese into the bake dish.
In there. Oops.
Did you want to put in a layer of Parmesan?
Do you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. As an extra step, I'm going to go ahead and grate a layer of Parmesan to put on top of the mac and cheese to truly make it delicious. Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and overestimate how much cheese I need, just because too much cheese with mac and cheese is never enough. Okay. Sick. Now we're just going to go ahead and decorate it. Alright, this is our mac and cheese before we go ahead and bake it. And our oven's done preheating.
Put it on in.
Alright. I think the top rack should be fine. Not too sure, but we're just going to go ahead and do it. Be very careful. You should probably wear mitts. Awesome. And now we're good. I'd say you could put it in for about like 10 minutes maybe. Not be checking on it, but if your oven permits and you can look through it, definitely look through it. Monitor the golden brown crust that you want. But ultimately, we are shooting for 10 minutes. So check it.
And during those 10 minutes, it's a great time to clean the kitchen.
There. Our macaroni is just about done, so I'm going to go ahead and take it out of the oven. Nice. I can already hear it sizzling. Beautiful. So you can see, you know you've got it well if you can see crust start to form. And of course we have our cheese sauce that's coming through really nicely, so I'm very happy with how this came out.
So, as is traditional with the kitchen thing, we're going to ask a question before we go and eat. And so today's question will be, if you could add one thing to your mac and cheese, one ingredient to your mac and cheese, what would it be? All right. So, Dadian, would you like to start?
I would add bacon.
All right.
Peas.
I think I would probably add ground beef.
I think I'm kind of on that peas train myself, so I'd add peas as well. But I think it's going to be awesome just the way it is.
Looks good.
Okay, and then we're
Thanks, Dodian.
Yeah.
gonna.
Yeah.
That's good work.
Yeah, that's good work.
That's good work.
Sick.
That's good
I
work.
got some of that Cholula too. Cholula down that direction?
Not yet.
Not yet. All right.
Could use salt.